Hello everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to look at how you can follow the market when you are managing the trade in MTPredictor and then be guided by how the market is actually unfolding. But as usual, we have to start with our risk disclaimer. Just remind you that all examples in these videos should be considered as hypothetical. No trades were actually taken, they're just shown for illustration and trading purposes only. Remind you there's a risk of loss in trading and investing, or put another way, all professional traders know and understand, but more importantly accept that losses can and will and do unfold. So let's have a look on a trade setup that's unfolding or has just unfolded today, which is January the 22nd, on the BankNifty over there in India. And it's this TS3 sell setup here. You can see initially this looks like to be a good MTPredictor sell setup. We're in the direction of our MTP trend. If I right mouse click here and do analysis on the red cell bar, you can see the market never quite got down to its first target. You'll also note that we had a buy setup here, but obviously this was against our red MTP trend, to be avoided. So what I want to do in this video is look at how the market reacted in and around here as it broke to new lows. So if I clear the chart off and I have a look down here, I'll just right mouse click off this previous low and do decision point, and you can see that we had major decision point support coming in here. If I right mouse click, actually what I'll do first, I'll just use our training mode to see as we jump down into this low down here. Just jump to here. You can see this is what was happening as the market was making a move down to this low. So as it was going down here, if I right mouse click here and I do Elliott wave major, you can see we're actually at the end of a potential low of a 5-wave swing off this major high here. You can see the market came down, it made a 1, a 2, 3, up to a 4, down into the minimum wave 5 WPT. So initially there were two potential support zones that were in and around this low that were just above where this major target was. Can you see that? So you had two support zones that were actually reached that were just above our target. So I'll just clear that all off. I'll just put those back on again. In fact, I'll just leave that decision point on and put that back. And as you can see, as the market came down to this low, the potential profit was in and around 5.5 R, which was really close to your 6.5 R potential profit at the target. So this is not a case of where you need to cut your profits early, because as we teach in our training webinars, we try and teach to let your profits run. In other words, run to your targets, to have profits that are larger than the losses. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when the market looks like it's telling you something else. In other words, it's giving you completely the opposite information to the trade you're actually in. But the most important thing that's happening at this particular low here, so if I just clear everything off, is the volume. Because if I look at our VS chart here, can you see how you had a very high spike in the volume? So the market here made a huge push. Whoops, I'll just do a low tag. A huge push to a new low below this important low here. Now, as we teach, if this volume is indeed truly selling, this high volume here, then the market will carry on down. But the most important thing is to see what happens on the next bar. So if I go forward one more bar, can you see here how the market failed to follow through? In other words, it failed to follow through to new lows. Now what that means is the volume in the previous bar, this bar here, which is this high volume, was not actually selling, as most amateurs would think. It's actually buying. The professionals are coming in here and starting to buy this market. So of course this is where your experience as MTPredictor and your knowledge of behind some of our automatic setups will help you, because if this has been a blue buy bar, this would have been an automatic VS or volume spike setup. But knowing how that market reacts at that point and understanding what to look for when the markets make breaks to new important psychological highs and lows, you can use this to help manage your trade. So the best way to do this is if I place the analysis on, you can see there would be your target down there. So what you'd do is, I'll just take that low off, is if you trail just a tick above that bar's high, so what you're doing is effectively locking in 4.3 or just over 4-hour profit. So then you're letting the market tell you on the next couple of bars what it's going to do. So if it's going to carry on down to your initial target there for your 6.5-hour profit, that would be really nice. The market will reverse and carry on down. But if this is indeed buying volume coming in here, and buying pressure is now starting to come into the market because of this volume spike on this bar here, then you want to protect that profit, because the market may well reverse sharply and you want to then lock in that profit there. And that's exactly what happened, because if I turn training mode off, you can see the market then started to rally back up there, and that was indeed the low of the day so far there today. So this is a good example of, again, why MTPredictor is not a black box system, and that's why we don't believe in black box system trading, is because you can't evaluate and follow the market as your trade is actually unfolding. MTPredictor is a toolbox. It's a toolbox of tools that allow you to look at how the market's unfolding to be able to gauge what the market is actually telling you at the time. And this, I thought, was a really good example, in that even though the market did not reach its first target, it was really close, but because of mainly the market here making a reversal on after the high volume break below that low at major DP support, that's the time to then lock in your just over 4-hour profit and say thank you very much, and then move on to the next trade. So this is a good example of following your trade with MTPredictor as it's unfolding, and then looking at what information the market is telling you, in particular when it makes breaks beyond important psychological highs or lows. And as you can see, that is where the low of the day was, and the market rallied up since then, so that would have been an ideal place to bank your 4.3-hour profit from this nice short trade on the way down.